Okay. So yesterday we were discussing about like list interface, and we have discussed about array list and we saw that what are the architecture of it actually. So today we'll be talking about like the another implementation classes of list, that is linked list. Okay. So let me go to the collections. Linked list class. So in linked list class, what is the underlying architecture of linked list is? Its underlying architecture is doubly linked list. Okay. So doubly linked list. When do we go with the linked list is like when our operation is like insertion operation, insertion or deletion. Okay. So when do we go with array list is like when we have like search operation or sorting. Okay. So search operation and sorting would be easy in case of array list, because array list will have the underlying architecture as like arrays. Okay. So we have array list as arrays. And here we have doubly linked list. So what it has is like in case of this linked list, we have elements stored as doubly linked list. Okay. So what happens here is like insertion would be easy, because see, for example, we are just connecting this, right? So connecting the nodes. You can see connecting the nodes. So when we want to insert some element here, so what happens is like we can just, or else we can just, you see now what I'm doing is like I'm just deleting this one, inserting a new element here. Okay. So how does this happens is like inserting a new element here. Go to this. Now what it does is like it will connect this one. It is going to connect to this, and here it will go and connect this one. Okay. So likewise we can insert the element easily. Okay. For example, if you want to insert, like here we have 10. So this is another interview question, guys. Important interview questions. Okay. 10, 20, and here we have 30. And here we have some 40. Okay, I want to insert 25. Okay, 25 at this location. Okay, after 20, I want to insert it. So what happens is like it will delete the connection. It will delete in the sense it will just point this 10 node, whatever the node it is, like it will go and if you want to insert in between like 10 and 20, so it will point to this particular. This is like a tail and this is like a head. Okay, so it will point to this head, and this tail will be pointing to this 20, which is like which we call it as like a head, and this will be pointing to this head. Okay, so likewise insertion will be easy for this insertion and deletion. But in case of RS, what happens is like shifting. We have to shift. Okay, if you want to insert, for example, here we have 10. Okay, so 10, and we have 20, and we have 30. So in between 10 and 20, I want to insert 25. Okay, if I need to do that one, so what I have to do is like I have to shift this. Okay, this is nothing but 20 should be shifted to 30, 30 should be shifted to next position, next position, next position. Likewise, we have to have one more space will be created, and from there we have to shift it. So this shift operation is little costly. So that is the reason why do we need to go with the linked list is like if you want to have these operations like insertion or deletion, then the linked list is faster. Okay, so let me go and create object for the linked list. Okay, so list. So directly we can go and create linked list. Okay, so linked list. Now you see, same we have all the methods which are available as part of list and array list will be available here. Okay. I mean, it is similar to the array list, and we have few other additional things that we look into that. What are those things? I'll show you. I'm inserting some values. One, list dot add, and two, list dot add. Now you can see it is 2 comma from Srikanth. Try to print. See how. Okay, so we got this array list. So now I want to remove it. Okay, so for example, remove dot remove based on the index 0. Okay, so we'll try to print after removing the index. See what is happening? It is removing this element. Okay, so it is in similar case here. So if you want to remove, as we discussed yesterday, right? So if you use the object, okay, index based and object also. If you say remove, so it's going to remove that part. So next is like we have what are the methods that we have as part of linked list is like, see, we have previous, and you can see that. Okay, so previous first, or else you can see so generally the difference is like we have add first, add last. Okay, so if you want to add the first element again, okay, so if I say 12, then I'm going to add last. Okay, now add last 34. Now you see we don't have options, these particular methods available in array list. Okay, array list will have only which are like, we can add in a sequence. Okay, so we can add them in sequence. LLST dot. See, all of them are like, you can see contains all. And next we have like, descending iterator. Okay, so descending iterator. Let's try to go and use this descending iterator. How do we use this descending iterator? You have to create a list iterator. List iterator. List itr is equals to descending iterator. Iterator that I'm sorry, do not support the list iterator. Now we'll see. As next, yeah. See what is happening now. So when we have like 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, Srikanth 1, 2, then it is like descending iterator. It is iterating from the last. Okay, so before that I'll just try to print the element of list iterator, and we'll see what happens. Before list iterator. Okay, so I mean like before descending iterator, I just want to print something. Okay, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here it is like it is taking the elements from the last. Okay, last and next last, next, and after that the first element. Okay, so this is descending iterator. So this is like another method which is available as part of linked list. Okay, so linked list dot, we have another methods here. So add first, add last, we looked into it, and we have contents, we already looked into it. Contents the particular element. If it contains, then it will return the Boolean value. Okay, contents all also, it's kind of like a collection. Okay, collection is like interface. So this interface, if we are trying to add, for example, here I am going to create another. If you want to copy complete collection, okay, what is collection? Collection is like a collection of objects in a single unit. Okay, So now what I'm trying to do is like I want to add this list into the list one. Then here I'll go and add list one dot. What is it? Add all collection. Okay. So which one you want to add? List. Okay. So now you go and try to see this list one. Okay. So you should have all the elements which are there in that part of like list. Okay. So this list, linked list values are copied into linked list one. So all of the values are copied here. Okay. So this is nothing but add all will add the collections. Collections from one collection, one set of things to other set of things. Okay. So this is like linked list. Now we'll say what are the other methods that we have. So descending linked list, iterator we saw, and we see that list dot element linked list. So it is kind of like we are going to use enumeration for this. Okay. So enumeration. So when you say this, so what it does is like we have, this is the legacy class. We would be using this one. Okay. So enumeration. That is equals to okay, it says like change it to the object. Oh, sorry. We have to. I'll show you how do we use this enumeration. So we'll be talking that cursors about little later. So I don't want to jump into that right away. So we'll see other options which are like we saw add last, add first, then we saw add all elements. And if you want to clear out, okay, instead of like here we are removing all one element at a time, right? Yesterday we were talking about like removing those particular elements like which are which are not required, that we can do using the remove. But in case if you want to clear all the list, then directly we can use this clear method. So what it does is like it will clean up everything. So if you see list one, go and try to print it now. So you don't get, it will be throwing like empty collection. It will be cleaned out. Okay. So we have same options, like still we can go and use list one dot get. Okay. So get is like will help you to get the element. So here another thing is like get first, get last. We have this methods which will get the elements first, last. Okay. So if you want to get the first element, insert the first element. Get last element. Okay. So before this, I'll just remove this. Okay. Now you see, this is the element which is located at the index 0. And this is the element which is first element. This is the element which is last element. Okay. Likewise, we can have this separate methods. Okay. So few other methods are there, which are like, legacy methods, because linked list is part of the interface. Okay. The other interface that we accuse, right? So we are using linked list will also have the implementation class, like an implementation class of the queue. So that is the reason why we have another methods, which we see here is like list one dot peak. Okay. So peak object. So these are like linked list. Now you can see these are separate. These are coming from the linked list class itself. Okay. Peak first, peak last, poll first. Okay. So if I say peak, peak first, and try to print list one. So 12. Okay. Let me just go and try to print it here. Go and try to run it. So you get the element which is located at the first index. Okay. Peak first is nothing but it is going to bring that element. Okay. If you say poll first, for example, if you say list one dot pull first, what it does is like you can see it is going to remove that. Okay, so retrieves and removes the first element of the list, and it's if it is like if it's not available, it will throw the null value. So pull first. Now you try to print the list one. You should get only this element. See, pull first is like it's going to remove that element. Peek first is like it's going to get that element. Okay, so we have a lot of methods like get first. You see, this also we can use, and this also we can use. Okay, additional method which are available. So guys, give me 5 minutes. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, so somebody is at the door and I need to collect a parcel. Okay, I'll be pausing the recording. Okay. Yeah, so these are the few methods which are like additionally available for the linked list. Okay, so now we see that we looked into the methods like adding, add all, and add first, add last, and peek first, pull first, and we have another methods like list one dot. These are the clear clear contents, contents all. We looked into a descending, and we have like for each also that we can use. So which is kind of like iteratable, and get first, get last, and so list iterator is available for this. Okay, so list iterator is also kind of one iterator, right? So cursor which is available for iterating the elements. Okay, get fetching the elements from that particular list, linked list. Okay, lister, linked list, or list. So we have like offer first, offer. So these are like different methods which are available. Okay, so mostly you will see that few methods which are kind of like separately available for the classes of list and linked list or array list. Okay, so now now what we do is like we want to see now we talking about like data structures. In the data structures we are going to see what is the difference between different classes and interfaces. So when you take the list will accept the duplicate elements, and it will accept null values, and it will have the insertion order preserved. And the other thing is like the implementation class of list are array list and linked list. So array list will help you to search the element. Okay, search or sort the elements, and because that is like it's going to work as the array as like array underlying data structure. But in case of linked list, it's kind of like a doubly linked list. So addition and removal will be easy for this, because now as I showed you here, so now you see it will be easy, right? It has like the address of this previous a previous element will be stored here, and the next element will be stored here. So when we want to insert, it will directly go and like it's not based on an index. So it will be based on like kind of like head and tail, whatever we have addresses here. So it will just remove that and it will add it. So in case of this array list, so here we have like indexes. Okay, it's stored on indexes. So shift operation should be done. Shift operation should be done in the sense that if you want to store a particular index, then what it does is like it has to push this element to the right. So that's the thing, it's going to shift, it do the shift operations. So but in case of doubly linked list or linked list, what happens is like it will just delete that and it will just connect with the element. Again, it will establish the connection between these two elements. Okay, so that is the reason why insertion and removal will be easy in case of linked list. Sorting and searching would be easy in case of array list. Okay, so both of the classes does the same thing, but additionally you can see linked list will have some other methods which will help you to do the operations. Okay, so most of the times they are going to ask in interviews, so what are the differences between linked list and array list. Okay, so now we are going to look into those differences. So array list, so I can see duplicates are allowed. Insertion order is preserved in the sense insertion, what in which order we insert the values, that order will be again when we retrieve it, it will be pulling that value in that order. Okay, insertion order is preserved, and next is like search operation is faster. Okay, so next is like Next is like it's not synchronized. Okay. So thread, it's not thread set. So this is like our list. Okay. So linked list, everything is similar, but here add or remove operation is faster. Okay. So these are the differences between array list and linked list. Okay. These are the two classes of implementation, two implementation classes of interface list. Okay. Comments below. Implementation classes. Okay. Implementation. Otherwise, I'll write it as like implementation classes of list interfaces. Implementation classes of list interface. Okay, so these are the two implementation classes of list interface. Now let's see about the set. Okay, so implementation classes of set interface. So what are the implementation class of set interface? We have set, linked, set, have preset. Okay, so we'll talk about the set interface now. Okay, so are you clear with this linked list, array list, list interfaces? So these are the different things which are available as part of like list interface along with the implementation classes. Okay, so I'll share this document with you. So whatever I'm just listing it down, so it will be like handy for you to understand. Okay, so duplicates are allowed, insertion order is preserved, and search operation is faster, and other one is like it's not synchronized. It accepts null value also. Okay, so null values. So when we try to list down the difference between set and interface, this is another thing that we need to consider. Okay, so when I'll explain about it. Okay, so now we'll go to the set interface class. Now what we do is like we are going to create set is equals to new hash set. What are the implementation class of set? So hash set, linked hash set, other one is like preset. Okay, set okay. So now I'm going to add the events. Okay, set dot add one, set dot add 10, set dot add 2, set dot add 2. So these are all objects, right? I'm trying to add it. Okay, so then I'll say C, set dot add null, set dot add 1 again, set dot add. Oh, another one is like I'll just try to add some strings. Okay, so now I want to retrieve the elements. We don't have a get method here, guys. Okay, only we have add method. Okay, so if you try to see this, so you can say get will not be there. Okay, so why this get is not there, I'll explain it. But before that, I want to try to print the values which are there in the set. Okay, so I'm going to print it. Observe carefully. Null 1, 2, C, Srikanth 10, 2. Okay, so what is the sequence that I have here? So I have entered like 1, 10, 2, true, C, null, then 1, true, and Srikanth. So but the insertion order is like, whatever the order that I inserted, it will not follow the insertion order in case of set, and duplicates will not be allowed. So here is like one is there and one is there. But when you just try to print it, duplicates will be removed. Okay. For example, if you have same set of things again added here, now you see how many elements altogether. Let us take, I have added 12 to 29 in the sense altogether 17 or 15. Okay. 17 elements are added, for example. Now you see when you go and try to print it. So how many elements we got now? So duplicates will be removed. Okay. So no duplicates are allowed. And only one null value will be allowed. That's nothing but anyways, if you are trying to put more null values, it will only consider one null value at a time. But when you try to insert this, like, duplicates will be allowed here. We can insert, see here, you can see that when you try to print this array list, it will print all the elements, like, yeah, here you can go and try to print it. Now you see, so we got duplicate elements. Okay. So duplicate elements, but set will not accept duplicate elements. Okay. So the difference between linked list, list and the set interface is like, set interface does not preserve the insertion order and it will not allow the duplicates. Okay. So let me just go and cover it as part of, like I said, I'm going to put it. Okay. Duplicates are not allowed. Insertion order is not preserved. Okay. Insertion order is not preserved. Now we don't have get method here. Okay. So another one is like get method is not available as part of set interfaces. Okay. Now we saw this one. How do we retrieve the elements now? We can use traditional for loop. Okay. So I is equal to 0, I is less than set dot, we have size I plus plus. So now system out. System out. We say set dot get, then what happens now? We don't have get methods, and we use this traditional for loop, we cannot use that get method. So for this, we can do one approach is like we can add this set to the array list and we can do it. Okay, we'll do it in this time, but I'll just try to go with the other approach. That is nothing but the additional for each. Okay, so is that system out. So see what is happening now. You can see it is able to retrieve the data from this particular set interface. Okay, so set or implementation classes, we can say as set near that. Now this is one approach. The other approach would be like we can use iterator. Okay, iterator is the cursor which is available for all the collection. Okay, new set interface iterator. So it's while itr dot next. Next itr dot. Now you see. So till this. Okay, let me just put it like this. See, null 1 2 C Srikanth 10 true. Okay, so we can use iterator in this case. For example, this is the second approach, and third approach is like if you want to get those elements. Okay, get those elements based on the indexes. What you can do is like you can create array list. A list is equals to new array list. Okay, so what you can do is like a list dot add So we are going to add that collection, right? So complete collections will be added here. So after that, we can use this traditional. Okay, size less than list dot size. So I plus plus. Now you can get that. Okay, give the index. So here, see. Now we are going to get the elements using this additional fudge. Okay. So first one is like from null, it's going to print true, and from here to here, it is printing using the iterator. From here to here, it is printing using the index. Now it is like possible that you can just use this alias dot get the indexes also. So if you say 1, if you want to print it, so you can print it. So what is the underlying data structure of the set is like, it's going to have the hashing. Okay, it's going to store that particular object in a location based on the hashing method. Okay, so hashing method, what it does is like, it's going to give some random hashing for that, like the location. So that is the reason why we are not able to store it in like its insertion order is not present. Okay, so it will follow the hashing technique. So the hashing technique, what it does is like, it's going to randomly provide the access to this, randomly provide memory to this particular element. Okay, so that is the reason why when we are using sets, so it does not preserve the insertion order, and other thing is like it will not allow the duplicates. Okay, so this is the difference between the list and set. We talk about the list and set. Okay, so duplicates are not allowed, insertion order is not preserved, and get method is not available as part of set interface. Okay, so this is like in case of hashing. Technique used is like, you can say underlying data structure is hashing. So here you can say underlying architecture for linked list is okay, so arrays. So we saw the difference, like what is the difference between the set and a list. Now, when we are talking about like hash set has the implementation class of the set. Okay, so here what we do, here we are creating the object for this hash set and we are trying to add the elements. Now it will not allow the duplicate, and insertion order is not preserved. Okay, and retrieving is like, you can see we use this traditional like an advanced for, and you can use the iterator. And the other ways is like, if you want to get the method, if you want to have this get method, so we need to add that collection to this array list, and after that we can use the get. Okay, so do you have any doubts here, guys? Are you clear with this? Yes, no. So don't worry, guys. You need to practice it, otherwise you may forget it. So that is the reason why I'm asking you to practice on a daily basis. Okay. So I'll just give the list of things that we are trying to explain as part of, like, we are discussing as part of the collection framework. Okay. Now we'll go to a linked hash set. Okay. So when do we use this set? When do we use this set is like, if you don't want to have the duplicates, and insertion order, like you don't care about the insertion order. Okay, but if you want to go with the array list, like if you want to have the insertion order and if you want to have the duplicates. Okay, and we'll discuss about like if you want to have the default ascending order as like insertion order, like if you want to make the ascending order, of the elements which you have inserted. In that case, we go with the tree set. We'll discuss about that. Okay. So I will go to the linked hashtag class. Now you see what is the difference between this particular thing. Yeah, I'll just rename it as like. Okay, so we need to still discuss with the hash set also, right? Set. Set class. So here you can directly use the asset because it is a class and we can create the object to that, right? So it also produces the same results. Okay, so set is an interface, just we are creating reference variable and we are pointing it to the class, right? So now it becomes an object in case of set. As set is like it's a class and we can directly create object from it. It's not any abstract class. Okay, so has set. Next we are going to see about linked has set. Okay, so I'll just rename it as like linked asset. Now you go and see here we have asset. I'm just appending linked asset. I'll say now we have to implement. I will import the package. Okay. So now you see, observe carefully. We have 1, 10, 2, true, C, and we have some duplicate elements which are already available here. And try to check what is the insertion order here. Okay. So we are talking about linked asset. Asset does not have the insertion order preserved. And other thing is like it does not allow the duplicates. Okay. But now I'm going to execute this. Okay. I'll just remove rest of the things here for the iterator. Let me just go ahead from here. I'm just commenting. Okay. Multi-line comment. Just like / star and the backward slash. Okay. So, so this is nothing but multi-line comment. Now I'm going to execute this. Observe carefully, guys. See 1, 10, 2 true, C null line, Srikanth. So 1, 10, 2 true, C null line, whatever we have like Srikanth. So duplicate is removed and it is just like printing these elements. So what is the difference between linked like hash set and linked hash set? It's like it's going to preserve the insertion order. It will remove the duplicates. It's not allow the duplicates. It will remove the duplicate and insertion order is preserved. Only the difference between linked hash set and hash set is like insertion order is preserved in case of linked hash set. But hash set does not preserve the insertion order. Okay. So now you go back to this and try to frame the differences here. Okay. So linked hash set. Duplicates are not allowed. Insertion order is preserved. Okay. Insertion order is preserved. Insertion order is preserved in this case, and we don't have time. Again, everything is similar. Only the thing is like we don't have this insertion order preserved. Okay, underlying architecture for this is like it is doubly linked list. Okay, so again, it is kind of like a doubly linked list. So get method is not available as part of set interface we have written, right? Set interface. So we cannot have the method available for hash set also. So again, go back to this and try to execute them using this approach. Okay, so now I'll go to this set and we'll see what are the different methods available. Okay. Set again, we have all these things like add, all, clear, content false. Okay, we already looked into it, right? Is empty, iterator, and remove all. So next we have like size also we looked into it. Okay, so these are like few things that we can have as part of like set, but set does not have most of the methods like array list and linked list, like whatever we have as part of that. Okay, so this is like hash set and linked hash set. What is the difference between hash set and linked hash set is like insertion order will be maintained in linked hash set, but it's not maintained in hash set. Duplicates are not allowed in both the hash set and linked hash. Okay. Now, as we discussed, like we want to remove the duplicates and we want to just have the ascending order as like sorting order. Okay. Ascending order. What are the elements that we are trying to maintain as part of like collections, and we want to have the ascending order. Okay. So now for that we are going to use the preset set class. Okay. So here I'm going to copy this content and I'll come here. Reset. Observe carefully. Now what happens in this case is like it should, what it has to do now? It has to preserve, it will not preserve the insertion order, it will remove the duplicate, and it has to sort the elements in ascending order. Okay, so ascending order. Let me just try to comment this line and execute this code. Okay. So what is happening? Integer cannot cast to the class, right? And we have a boolean and we have a, so why it is throwing the exception now? Because now you see if you take the integer, we can give the ascending order or descending order. Like ascending order can be checked based on the value that we are inserting. Okay. So integer can be sorted. If you have a strings, that can be sorted. If you have boolean, that can be like, kind of like it will be tedious for that. Like it's nothing but it's whichever way it is feasible, it will try to sort it. But when we have multiple things which are added as part of like an object to this set, in this case, what happens is like the ascending order, sorting order would be difficult for this. Okay. So in this case, what we have to do is like we need to have only one type of object. Okay. One type of object, though we are not specifying here, but we should have the one type of object. For example, I'll remove this. See, I'm removing this. I will remove this. I'll put the character and let's see what happens in this case. So again, it is saying integer cannot cast to the character. Okay, character is also not supported. Let me remove this character. Now, what are the values that we have here is like only integer. Okay, so let me go and execute this. Now you see 1 to 10. Okay, what is it doing now? It is only taking this integer values and try to sort it. Okay, so I'll put 1.3 and here I put 1.10.5. 0.5, 1.3 and try to execute this. It is saying that double. Okay, so double cannot because we have both integers and double. 0.45, 67, 0.4656. Now try to go and see what is happening now. So it is removing the duplicates and it's trying to sort the elements. So it will take one object of like we can call it as like wrapper class, whatever we have like in a string, or we have the double or float or whatever it is. Like now I'll try to add the other things. Okay, add. I'm going to add something as like what is happening, you see, Chandu, Chincholi, India, Srikanth, and Jairam. Okay, Zaya, Samsaida. Okay, so what is happening here? It is going and try to compare the values. Okay, this whatever what it does is like first it will take this value and it will compare the rest of the values. Okay, if this value is greater than any of the characters which is available at this first character, that's nothing but lexicographically we have looked into that compare to method, right? In strings, what it does is like it's going to compare character to character. If this character is greater, then what it is doing is like it's pushing at the end. Okay, it is pushing at the end. So it will be like easy for us whenever we are trying to like put any of this country names or something, whatever we have. In that case, we can go and use the preset. Preset is like us by default, it's going to put everything in ascending order. Okay, so but the condition is like it will accept only one type of object. Okay, so it doesn't support all the objects. Okay, so though you are not specifying it here. So for example, by default, what it does is like here it's going to take this string and we have a generic. I'm talking about like generic. Okay, so only this type of values will be accepted. If for example, if you put the integer, now it will throw the error. The values that you have inserted is a string and that you're putting here is like an integer. So it will say that this should be casted. Okay, or else change it to something else. The method add integer in the type integer is not applicable for the argument string. Okay, so by default, what it does is like based on the values that you are inserting, it will take that one. For example, if another thing is like so still it is not accepting. I'll show you like how do we use this regular expressions also. Okay, now you see what is happening. Insertion order is not preserved and duplicates are not allowed, but elements will be sorted in ascending order by default. Okay, so what is that we have to add is like insertion order not preserved. Alt is by default ascending order is maintained. It's not allowed here also. If you want to add it to the array list, then you can add it. But anyways, set interface will not have. The underlying architecture for this, like we have tree. Okay, so which is like non-linear data structure. So we have like different set of things which will come under like which are like primitive data types. What are primitive data types? Primitive data types are like we have int, short, byte, long, float, double, character, and boolean. Okay, so linear data structures are like, so we have string, arrays. Okay, so array list, linked list, asset, linked asset. Then we have preset. Okay, but non-linear data structure in the sense which does not have any kind of like data structure we have data structures, but it doesn't fall under the linear data structures, which are like graphs and tree. Okay, so this will have like a binary. We have different set of things like binary. So nodes we have, but here in this case we have like elements we are going to store. Okay, so strings will have elements, arrays will have elements, and array list, linked list, asset, preset. So this will have the elements. But in case of this, we have a nodes here. Okay, so nodes will be created. So these are the differences, different set of things that we have. Okay, so if you want to hold this data structure, if you are using any kind of like arrays, we can hold the data elements of primitive data types, and we are going to store objects also. But in case of array list or linked list, any set of collections that we are going to hold only objects. Here also, it's kind of like a sequence of characters. Okay, sequence of characters, whichever way we are going to put it, whether it's an object or whether it is a kind of a data type. So that will be taken as like a sequence of characters. So strings will be holding both. You can say both data types, whatever data types that we have like in data types as well as like objects. Okay, so these are the different things, guys. So when you are talking about like tree set, so it's going to have the non-linear data structure. Okay, so don't worry about what is non-linear, linear, but you need to remember linear data structures are like, strings, array side, collection framework, whatever we have. But non-linear is like graphs and trees that we are not going to discuss about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so these are the things, guys, when we talk about like linked list, list and set interfaces, and what are the different implementation classes of what is like array list, linked list are part of list interfaces, and as said, linked as set and tree set is a part of set interfaces. Okay, so these are the different implementation classes, and we saw the differences between this classes as well as like interfaces also. Okay, so we'll try to cover another one is like what is collection. Collection, only collection. So here, what I'm doing is like what I'm going to do is like I'm going to put the array list. Now I'm going to put only generics. Okay, generics are like it will hold only string data type, string objects. Okay, so if I'm talking about like string, then it is like a kind of object. Okay, so array list here I'm going to specify it as like a string. See al dot add Srikanth, al dot add Chandu, al dot add Rasha, al dot add baby. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, this is fine. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to take the collection interface. Okay, collection interface dot. So string. Now, see what I want to do is like I want to do some sort of like sorting. Okay, sorting. What? How do we exactly do the sorting here? Let's go and see collection. Collections. Yeah, so it's like collections, right? Collections actually. Collections example. I'll just rename it. Okay, so what is this collection? Go and open this declaration. It's a class. Okay, so collections is a class and collection is an interface. Okay, collection is an interface. Now you see what are the different things that we can do as part of like collections is like you can see we have sorting, order sorting that we can do, and we can use the sorting. Okay, these are like again we go with the polymorphism overloading. Okay, overloading. Now you see we have like it's going to do the binary search, and it's going to do the iteratable binary search. A lot of things that we can achieve as part of like collections class. Okay, now you see collections dot. I'm going to sort the elements. For example, I'll take the sort. So directly we can do the sorting. Okay, so al and try to print al. It will sort the elements. Chandu, Devi, Srikanth, and Utkarsha. Okay, so sort the elements. Now let's try to do some other actions like collections dot. We can check. Okay, empty list. If whatever we have like empty list. So what it does is like insert collections dot. So if that is like collection, so if it is like a list, it's going to show like empty list and immutable. This list is like serializable. So if you want to check something, okay, so collections, or if you want to check something, in that case, we can use this, okay. So AL dot is empty. Another one is like we can add the collections and we can use it. Okay, let me take another example. In this case, the empty list would not be like, kind of, we need to check for that particular collection is empty or not. Okay, so let me take the useful methods. So which we use it. Okay, add all collections. See, for example, if you want to add these collections, you can add this. Okay, so you can create another array list AL1. Now you can say add all AL1, AL2, AL1. What it says, collections.add all method is not applicable for the arguments. Let me check what is that add all. We'll do this collections of party elements and we can read it. Add all of the specified elements to be specified collections. Elements to be added may be specified individually as an array. The behavior of this convenience method is similar to that of the add all, c dot add all, and the collection unmodified. Okay, so if as a list, if you want to put it as like, for example, now it's still not allowing me to do that add all one to add all. There's some set of action that we need to do. Let me just check it. Collections dot. Oh, it's going to return you some Boolean variable actually. Okay, so Boolean variable. Let me take another things, guys. So I just want to show you like how exactly we use it. We can use a swap also. So if you want to swap the elements, if for example, if you have this element, like if you want to swap this one to this one, so then we can swap it. Okay, so I'll put one here and try to print the elements like AL1. I see what is the insertion order Srikanth, Chandu, Utkarsha, and Devi, right? So I want to swap the values from 1 to 0. So this values will be swapped here. Okay. So what is happening? Index out of one exception. We have 0 and 1. Oh, we did not add any elements here, right? So I'll just give the array list 1. We don't have any values here, right? So I just created just to show you like the another example, but it's not working here. So let me check that one also. Now you see what is happening now. So Chandu, Devi, Srikanta, and Utkarsha. Devi and what is the value? So 1 and 0 and 1. These are like swapped now. Okay. So Chandu moved to the second position. That's not what first index 1. And here it moved to the index 0. Okay. Swap is another one. Okay. Sorting is like we can sort it and we can swap. Let us try to do it using array list. Okay. AL dot swap. Do we have this method? No, which is not available. AL dot sort. We have sorting, but this sorting is like different. We have to send it to the comparator and we use that one. Okay. So comparator, like this is another way of doing the sorting. So when we try to take this particular example, like now here, it's going to compare with this one and this one. So this will be helpful when we are doing with the comparable and comparator. So that I'm going to discuss in one of the classes during the automation. Okay. So don't worry about that. How do we use it? AL dot sort is like we just take the comparator value, so which is coming from the other class. Okay. Sort this list according to the order inducing the specified comparator. The sort is table. This method must be reorder equal element. So what it does is like it will take another. There is another interface that we have is like comparable. So this what it does is like it's going to comparable. Okay. So this is the interface. This interface, what it is like it's going to take the elements and it will compare each and every element and it's going to put it in a sorting order. Okay. So that can be achieved with the help of like AL dot sort. So we will discuss about that. So now we'll take another kind of methods which are possible as part of collections. Okay. So what is this collection? This collection is a class. Okay. So collections is a class. Collection is a interface. Okay. So now see copy. So this is like you can say destination extends T. It says like if you want to copy something, AL1, AL. So do we have AL1? I go and try. So I was trying to add all, right? So add all was not working. So I'm just using this copy. Source does not fit in destination. You don't have the, okay. So let me just put this. This is the destination. It is showing empty. So it should copy actually. So the reason it is not copying is like, so what it is like collections copy. So when you see this, so it will show like, list super destination and the source. Okay, it's extending some kind of like, it's nothing but we are trying to copy the destination and the source. Source is like, this is a source and this is a destination. For some reason, it is not copying this. Let me just go and execute it. Source does not fit in destination. Out of index, out of one exception, let me put some space, some size here. So still it is not allowing. So it should allow this because we are trying to copy and paste it. Okay. So let me just take it from here and put after this. So still we are getting this exception. And to check why this exception is showing, source does not fit in destination. So we have same set of, we have taken same set of things. Let me just remove this, remove the generics and remove the size also. Okay, so I'll come back to you guys on this. Actually, it has to copy, but it is not copying. But see, now we have sorted and we have swapped the elements and we are trying to copy the elements also. Okay, so other things are like, let me take the collection. I'll just comment this because it will throw the exception again. Collections dot so frequency. For example, see if you want to find out like AL, I'm just putting as like maybe. I'll just try to. What I'm trying to see is that how many number of times that particular Devi is repeated. Okay. For example, here putting Devi this many times. Okay. So now I want to see that how many number of times it is repeated. Okay. It will show you here 5C because we have Devi repeated 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in case of arrays, what we did, so we want to find out, we have compared, right? This one with this one, and this one like this. We are compared. But in case of collections, we can directly do it. Because swap also, it is very easy, right? So swapping the elements. In case of arrays, what we did, we have to write the logic for that. We have to shift the elements. But here, it is very easy. Collections.swap internally, this method is available so that we can swap. Sort is also kind of like we have to compare and we have to check each and every element there in the arrays. But here, it is like directly the method is available in collections class. Okay. So frequency also kind of like we used to write a program so that we can see the frequency of that particular element. But here collections.frequency, you have to give the list and we have to give the element that we want to check for the frequency. Okay. So this will help you to find out the number of times that particular element is repeated. Collections dot. The other thing is like, so if you want to do the empty set, you can just use this empty set. This is applicable for the set interfaces. Okay. So empty sorted maps, sorted sets, and frequency, we look into frequency. And so max is like one other thing that I will say max, give the collection. You can just try to skip this. So what it does, it just printed the elements here and it will show the maximum number of, see, we'll go to this particular element. What it does is like iterator and it's going to check, it will compare the element and it will return every element. So finally, what we get is like, which is the max candidate that we are going to try. So here we don't use this methods, but whenever it is possible that we can go and use this methods. Okay. So mostly the methods that we are using is like if you have any null values here. So how do you remove that null values? Okay. So let me just put some null here. Okay. So for this, what I'm going to do is like collections dot singleton list null. So the parameters it's going to accept. Let me just check this one. Collections dot single. AL. Comparable compared to null pointer exception, pivot is null because pivot is null. So here what it does is like it's going to just check for any of singleton is like this method. What it does is like it's going to compare. See now what it is doing, it is trying to compare. This is nothing but this kind of template. What type of data that we are passing it will ignore that one and it will try to compare the values. So what it is doing is like it will do some check of random access iterable. And here it's going to return that value. Let me check why is it like throwing the exception. Returns a immutable list containing only specified object. The return list is serializable. The class that we are passing and the okay yes, let me just check this one because with this select this all again depends on the versions that have been introduced. So in this case it may support, it may not support. Okay, so now you can see that we have looked into these things, right? So what we are trying to do is like we are trying to sort, we are trying to swap, and we're trying to find the frequency. There are a lot of other methods that we can use as part of collections class. Okay, so which are not supported by any of this framework. So for example, set is not supporting, then list is not supporting. In that case, we can go with the collections. Okay, so all these are like predefined methods which are available as part of collections. Yeah, reverse is another one. Okay, so now you can see if we can put AL reverse. So in case of reversing the elements, we have to write a logic. Now it is not required. Directly, you can see the elements will be reversed. Okay, so null pointer exception here, where this is coming. Okay, it is not able to sort these elements because we have a null here. Okay, I'll remove this. Now it will sort it. Okay, now you can see Utkarsha, Shrikant, Devi, Chandu, and Devi. So what it is doing now, it is reversing those elements. Okay, whatever elements that we got here, so those elements will be reversed here. Okay, so it will be put in a reverse order. So likewise, we have collections dot. We need to have this collections class here. Collections dot. So I'm just showing like whichever things that we use frequently. So those methods I'm showing up. Sorting is done, and yes, swap we have looked at it, and then we looked into it, the reversing of list. And if you want to rotate it, so how many elements that you want to rotate? See, now it is like, this is like I've reversed it, and after that, what I'm trying to do is like I want to rotate it. See, the last two elements came into the first position. That is nothing but it is doing the right rotation. Okay, so right rotation. So we are rotating the elements right side. Okay, now you see Utkarsha moved to two places. Okay, so and Devi, like Chandu and Devi, moved to two places. Okay, so we can rotate the elements also. So if I say -2, Now what it is doing is like it will doing the left rotation. Okay. So plus is like it will do the right rotation. Minus is like it's doing the left rotation. Okay, left rotation in the sense from left side it is rotating to the two positions. Okay, for this we have to write the logic. Okay, carrying these elements and storing these elements, and we have to write two for loops for rotating these elements. So all these things is like kind of logic we already looked into it. But here it is like very easy. Okay, so we saw that how do we now it's like copying is also it will work. Okay, source destination. Something is like it's not copying. Let me just look into this. Copying add all and singleton. I'll tell you little later. Okay. So now you see all these things can be done happily with the help of like collections classes. Okay. Collection is like a class, and collection is a interface. Collection framework is a collection of all the classes as well as like interfaces. So it's completely a framework. Okay. So difference between collection and collections is like collection is a interface, collections is a class, and collection framework is like complete set of both interfaces and classes. Okay. So guys, I'm going to send you all the collection framework programs. Please practice it, and you can do some R&D to it, like try to take some examples and try to do some set of programs. Okay, it's only about playing with the objects. Okay, so playing with the objects. So it doesn't require any kind of logic here. Just you need to understand the different methods which are available as part of collection interface. Okay, so collection framework and collection interfaces and classes. Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss about few generics and we'll jump into the maps. There is another interface that we are going to use. For that map also we have hash map, linked hash map, and tree map. So there we have like key value pair. Okay, key value pair that we are going to store the elements in the form of like table. Okay. Okay, yes, thanks for your time, and I need to get back to a few things, right? So copying, add all, and singleton, and I'll show you why they are not working and what are the parameters that we have to set.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. Please practice on a daily basis. If you don't practice, you'll forget it. Okay. These are all like very important topics and frequently asked in interviews.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. Bye.